Hey friends, today I just want to tell you about a new bonus episode that I published for patrons today. It's available right now if you sign up for Patreon for $5 per month to support the podcast. This is a second follow-up with Steve Maisch, and today I'm actually not going to play a teaser or a segment from the conversation. This was really informal. We basically just recorded a coaching call that I did with Steve in late December to talk about how I'm going to train or approach my climbing trip this year to Hueco tanks. So I'm planning to spend all of January and February in Hueco like I did last year, and very similar thing, but we just kind of regrouped, talked about my last 6 months of climbing and how that's gone, some of the weaknesses that I've been noticing, some of the things I want to address, how my bouldering pyramids are going and my goals for those, and we shaped a plan based around all of that. So we talked about how to organize my weeks, which difficulty levels and what types of climbs to focus on each climbing day and how to rotate through those. We talked about the strategy for kind of the arc of my climbing trip and how to use the trip to lead into a sport climbing season following this. One thing that's different about this season is I really wanted to try to maintain aerobic capacity this season better than I did last year. So Steve gave me a bouldering interval workout to do at the end of one of my climbing days. You can hear us talk about that. And finally, I've been noticing that my half crimp strength and my full crimp strength are pretty bad right now. I didn't do a lot of crimping in 2021. Those grips are lagging behind my open hand grips. So we geeked out on hangboarding for quite a while in this conversation, and Steve gave me some thoughts and a program to try for the final 10 days or so that I had leading up to Hueco, just to kind of prime my fingers and get them tuned up for Hueco tanks, since there's so much fingery and crimpy climbing there. And that's about it. We really geeked out on my training. So if you've been following that story and you've listened to my first episode with Steve Maisch, episode 70 of the podcast, and my first follow-up with Steve that I published in September of 2021, you'll get access to both follow-ups if you sign up for Patreon. I put links to both of those right there in your podcast app for this teaser that you're listening to right now. But if you've listened to those and you've been following my story and you want to hear how Steve and I are continuing to build off of each training cycle and tweak things, if you want to hear us talk about all the different ideas and bounce ideas off each other and come up with a plan, I think you'll really enjoy this episode. And for those of you who aren't as into training, go ahead and skip this one. That's pretty much all we talked about. But again, if you have been following my story, or if you're a self-coached climber and have had questions about how to put all these ideas together into an actual outdoor climbing plan, I think this could be another really helpful episode. So yeah, the full thing is available for patrons right now. Just takes a few minutes to sign up. There's a link right there in your podcast app for Patreon, and it's $5 a month. It's awesome. It really helps support the show. That is the foundation and the bulk of my income and what allows me to keep doing the podcast. So I really appreciate that support. And if you decide it's not for you, you can also cancel at any time. No questions asked and no hard feelings. So there you go. Patreon.com/thenuggetclimbing. There's a link right there in your podcast app once again. And I forgot to say this earlier. This is my 29th follow-up that I've published so far. You'll get access to all of those as long as you're a patron. And this one is about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes in total. So basically another full-length episode, much more informal, just Steve and I chatting it up and having a geeky training conversation. I should mention too, if you sign up for Patreon, you'll also get a sneak peek at who is coming up on the show, and you'll be able to submit questions for those people, as you've undoubtedly heard on the podcast. And you will also get access to a private RSS feed that you can plug into your podcast app so you can listen to ad-free episodes and the full-length follow-ups all in one place. Thank you all again. I really appreciate you all for listening, and we'll see you back here on Monday for another regular episode.
Move with it up, stop when the clock hits 13. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.